Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Monday Night Huddle. I'm your host, Matt Brown, and we got a great show for you tonight, guys. This is going to be our Wrestlemania preview. So, hopefully, you guys are big wrestling fans out there. I know I am. And our buddy, who's going to come on a little bit, Keith White from the Mixed Tag Podcast, will be on here in a little bit to talk all things about professional wrestling and give us a little preview on this weekend's WrestleMania weekend. Again, we're going to have a great show for you tonight. We're not going to open up anything tonight. We're going to get back next week to opening up packs and stuff. So if you miss openings and everything, wait till next week. We'll open up some more cards next week for you guys. A little update on Hotbox cards. We are basically almost done. I got like 3 baseball subscriber boxes I got to ship out still. And then we have about 10 or 15 football. I'm hoping to have everything done by the end of the week. Thanks for your patience. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the March boxes. They're fun to put together. Mystery March. Everybody gets a mystery envelope. Looks like this with a little clue on the front of who the player is inside. Made up a couple more of these because they needed some more football. So be on the lookout for those mystery envelopes. I want to see if you guys are able to solve the mystery of your Mystery March box. Also, I want to give you a little shout out to our friends over at BAA Sports. They posted an awesome video today. Go over to YouTube, check them out. BAA Sports, great channel over there. What they do is they're one of my subscribers. So they open up hot boxes every month. And sometimes they go on the road with hot boxes. Well, this month they were at Universal Studios there by the Harry Potter castle, opening up in their Harry Potter roller coaster. I don't know what it's called. I'm not a Harry Potter fan, guys. Harry Potter came out after I was out of that age group. But they're over at Universal Studios, and they open up a hot box, their February hot box. They open up that right there in front of the Harry Potter roller coaster, the Harry Potter castle as well. Hogwarts, I think it's called. I think it's called Hogwarts, I think. I know my niece would yell at me because she's a big Harry Potter fan. Shout out to Jessica out there. Or Tiffany, I'm sorry. I have 2 nieces, and Tiffany is a Harry Potter fan. So check out BAA Sports over on YouTube on their channel. They've also done videos. They went to the first KFC and opened up a hot box. They were on the Mississippi River and opened up a hot box. Most everything flew away on that video. But I love their video for the Universal Studios. I might try to get them on the show here coming up and give them a little exposure and talk to them about their channel and how they do it. I love their channel, guys. So make sure you check out BAA Sports. Nobody's in the comment section yet, but hopefully somebody will be coming on soon. Again, tonight, we're going to do our WrestleMania preview, and we are going to talk to our buddy, Keith White, over at the Mixed Tag Podcast. He'll be with us. 25 Perez. How you doing, sir? I was just talking about our friends over at BAA Sports. Check out their YouTube channel. While you're at it, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button to our YouTube or Facebook show, and that way we know you guys are on. Also, big news. Sometimes I listen to a lot of podcasts, especially wrestling podcasts. Sometimes they do those question segment episodes. So occasionally I'll submit a question. But I submitted one and I got it read on the air on Eric Bischoff's 83 Weeks. The episode just came out today, I think, or last night. It's an Ask Eric Everything episode. And my question was read on the podcast. So my question was, if you could not have, so right now the NWO when it first started was Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, and Hulk Hogan. And my question was, if you couldn't get Hall or Nash, would you still have done the NWO angle? And if you did, which one of those guys would you have taken to do the NWO angle? Now, he didn't answer the first part of the question, but he got to the second part. He said he would take, if he had Hall, he still would have done the NWO angle. So check out 83 Weeks with Eric Bischoff podcast, and you'll hear my question. Toward the little over halfway through the podcast, you'll hear my question. Check that out. I'm a celebrity, folks. I've got it. My questions have been run on Jim Cornette's show and now Eric Bischoff. So maybe I should submit more questions. I don't know. They won't come on the show, so I got to submit them somehow. That's what I got to do. Again, tonight we have our buddy Keith White over at the Mixed Tag Podcast. It's going to be on tonight here. He's running a little late. He does trivia. I don't know. He hosts some trivia events. I don't know what he does. He might make up the trivia questions. he might make up the answers. I'm not really sure. Hey, Chris, how you doing, sir? Again, make sure you check out Chris Ellis Card Guy, too. He just posted a video, wrestling video, and some NFL predictions, I believe, video just posted here recently. Make sure you check that out. And while you're at it, can't forget 25 Perez, TTM. You got to check out their channel as well. A lot of great YouTube channels. Got to check them out. If you notice, I'm stalling a little bit because I'm waiting for my buddy Keith on. We got a lot to talk about tonight. Also, I want to talk a little bit about some NFL news. Lamar Jackson has stated he wants to get traded now from the Baltimore Ravens. What do you guys think? Is there a team out there that could use? I mean, there's a lot of teams that could use Lamar Jackson. What do you think will happen? Lamar Jackson is actually his own agent. He doesn't have an agent. He does his own. He's his own agent. Saves some money, folks. Saves a lot of money, actually. But he's been having a lot of troubles negotiating with the Baltimore Ravens. We'll have to see what happens with Lamar Jackson. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he's staying put. If I was the Ravens, there's no way I would trade Lamar Jackson. Make the guy happy. Pay the guy some money. Make him happy because he is your offense, folks. You can't go back to any. I mean, what do they have? Huntley, I think, is their backup. Huntley is not a great quarterback. Lamar Jackson. I mean, Lamar Jackson he's had a tight end and Mark Andrews, and that's it. He's had no wide receiver help, basically. They did just draft Rashad Bateman, I think, last year or the year before. He's starting to come around a little bit, but for the most time Lamar Jackson's there, it's been him running and him throwing to Mark Andrews and them running the ball with their running backs. You got to give Lamar some help, and you got to pay the guy, folks. Let me tell you, it is hard to find a good NFL quarterback, folks. They don't fall off trees, folks. They are tough to find, and Lamar Jackson is one of those guys who actually deserves, I think, the money. He's been hurt a little bit, but let me tell you what's out there. I would take Lamar Jackson a heartbeat over a lot of guys. I'd take him over my quarterback, Daniel Jones. No problem at all. I would take Lamar, but what are you going to do? So let me know if you guys think Lamar Jackson might be going to a different team. Let me know what team you think it might be going to. We'd love to hear what you guys think. Again, tonight we have Keith White from the Mixed Tag Podcast going to be joining us here in a little bit. He said he should be on by 9:15. Hopefully he's on a little bit earlier. And we'll get started with our Wrestlemania preview. Wrestlemania, of course, is this weekend, April 1st, April 2nd. I think it's in Los Angeles, if I'm not mistaken. Wrestlemania now is 2 days. They started that, about 3-4 years ago, I think. They had Wrestlemania now, a 2-day event. I don't really like a 2-day event. I prefer a one night, wrestling pay-per-view or a one night wrestling show. I think going over 2 nights is it's a little too much, I think, personally. But oh, by the way, I'm wearing my Kevin Owens shirt. Look at that, folks. Kevin Owens shirt. Decided to support my my boy Kevin Owens, or Kevin Steen, for you independent wrestling fans out there. He has a big match, of course, we're going to talk about here in a little bit. A lot of great matches are coming up. And I don't know if you guys saw this, but WWE was trying to get legalized gambling on WWE wrestling. What do you guys think about legalized gambling on wrestling? I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's like a 99% chance that it's not going to happen. You basically have to get approved by different states, and it is very tough to get approved. The Oscars actually are approved now through some states, but even that, there's a limit on how much you can bid, and there's also a limit on what states actually do it too. So 25 presses, either one of these night for 7 hours. Why do 2 nights at 4 hours? I don't want to do one night for 7 hours either, man. I want to cut that down, man. I want a 4-hour WrestleMania. Maybe a 4-hour WrestleMania I'm good with. All the top matches. I mean, we could skip quite a few matches at WrestleMania and nobody would care. Really, nobody. The only people that would care are the wrestlers getting their payday. That's it. But they expanded to 2 days to get more wrestlers into WrestleMania. So they feel like they're kind of special and they get that WrestleMania payday. But a lot of these guys don't even deserve to be in WrestleMania, just my opinion. Chris Ellis says, not a good idea about legalized gambling for wrestling. Yeah, it would be tough. Very tough for legalized gambling, especially with wrestling. You have injuries. Things change all the time, folks, in wrestling. And like they've talked about having like the winner of the match, like a WrestleMania, they'd have it like a year in advance all locked up. But you can't do that. You never know what's going to happen. guys get hot, fans start liking somebody, they start pushing them, or maybe they push them and it doesn't go well. You never know. And they talked about not telling the wrestlers until they're going out who's going over, who's going to win. And that just would not work either. I just really don't see it happening. I think the only reason they're trying to do it is because trying to get more fans to watch. That's why you see even the worst NFL games still get a very good TV rating, because there's people putting money on those games. There's people betting on those games, betting in games, betting, the whole game, different prop bets. And the NFL gets a huge viewership from that. And WWE is looking for the same thing as well. But I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't. But we'll talk to Keith White and see what he thinks is going to happen on that as well. Update. Oh, also one more update. I forgot. April 27th. Mark your calendars, folks. April 27th, the NFL draft first round will be. It's a Thursday night, and the Monday Night Huddle show, of course, will do our NFL draft special, second annual NFL draft special, April 27th. I think it starts at 8. And we'll do 2 hours. We'll have guests galore. Chris Ellis has already confirmed he's going to be on the NFL draft show. He's a rookie on the NFL draft show, so he'll have to bring his A game. We'll be contacting a lot of our YouTube friends to come on. And we had a great time last year. You guys go back last April, watch that show. We had a blast. We were following picks. We were giving expert analysis that only I can afford, which is nothing. I can't afford anything. I don't pay anybody. So yeah, definitely check out the old last year's NFL draft show, and then get you ready for this April 27th. Probably, I think it's at 8 p.m. I haven't figured that out yet. I have to check the time schedule. I'm pretty sure it's at 8 o'clock. We'll go from 8 to 10, a 2-hour show, NFL draft show, April 27th. Mark your calendars. All right, we're still waiting for our boy Keith White to come on. While we are waiting, let's I thought he'd be on by now, folks. So he'll be on in a short. Let's take a quick commercial. We'll be right back, and hopefully our buddy Keith will be ready to go. At least I hope he's ready to go. I hope so. Are you tired of going to the store and finding all the shelves bare of your favorite sports cards? Well, I got the solution for you. It's Hotbox Cards. Hotbox Cards is a sports card subscription service. And what's even better, Hotbox Cards is affordable. No more than $100, $150, $200, $300 sports card subscription boxes. I'm talking Hotbox Cards at $29.99 plus shipping. You can't beat that. And you can't beat the variety. Most sports card subscription boxes are all about packs. Here, we like to mix it up. Every box, you're going to get 3 unopened packs. You're going to get 50 bonus cards, plus 3 game use or autograph cards. And we'll even ask you what your favorite team is. We try to give you one of those game use or autograph cards to be one of your favorite teams. So you got to check out the website, hotboxcards.net. You are going to love it. Plus, we give bonus items every month. Every month, we have a different theme in our boxes, and we give free items in every box. You can't beat it for $29.99. Check out the website, hotboxcards.net, and become a subscriber today. That is right, folks. Check out hotboxcards.net and become a subscriber today. $29.99 plus shipping gets you in the door with our great boxes. Got some new products coming out here probably in the next month, so make sure you check out those. I'll be updating those on those products coming out pretty soon as well. Still waiting for my boy Keith White. He promised he'd be here by 9:15. He's got 1 minute to show up, folks, and then I'll just do the show myself. I'll BS this whole show. I don't care. I'm telling you what, man, I pay these people top dollar to be here, and they show up late. So, but he will be. Oh, he just popped on. I'll wait till he gets ready. He right on time, actually, right on time. So as soon as Keith White is ready, he'll give me a thumbs up, and I will get him on the show, and we will be all good to go. Of course, he's from the Mixed Tag Podcast. Does his own trivia night. He does a little bit of everything, folks, and he's our wrestling guru, basically, our Monday Night Huddle wrestling guru. Ready for that. Keith, are you ready? Give me a thumbs up. All right, Keith is ready to go. Let's bring on the man, the legend, the myth, Keith White. Keith, how you doing, sir?
Oh, I'm all right. How are you? First of all, how do I sound?
You sound pretty good.
Cool, okay.
There's a brick wall behind you. I don't know if you knew that.
You like that?
That's new.
That's brand new.
That's brand new.
No one wants to see the basement. That's the thing. No one wants to see that basement.
Oh, my basement is maybe I need something. Maybe I need like a backdrop. All right. So we talked a little bit already. I was running out of things to talk about, and we did
Sure.
talk about WWE and gambling, trying to legalize gambling. Have you heard about this? What are your thoughts about legalized gambling for WWE?
So it's interesting because just to kind of take you a little bit back, last year, Mixed Tag actually had a sponsorship with DraftKings for WrestleMania. And it was really interesting because, well, number one, the thing I guess didn't work because certain states you can't do it. So for Delaware, we were not able to do it for whatever reason. But I I think it's cool, but at the same time, um, I don't know. It's weird. Like within the company, could they figure out ways to like to I guess cheat the system, make some more money? Could the guy that's working the enhancement match decide that he saw the sheet in the back and know who's going over in the main event and put some money on it? It's a very weird area when you're talking scripted outcomes. So for me, I wonder how they're going to regulate that in terms of people that are in the actual company itself. Because you remember, like you're a territory guy. There were times, where Harley Race and those guys, people were trying to screw them over at any point in time as they could, to change the finish. So back then, you had to be a shooter to make sure that things were on the up and up. So what's that say about today's situation? And if there's a weird call in the ring, if something doesn't look right, doesn't pass the sniff test, is there going to be that specter of cheating for the gambling's sake from now on? So it's just a weird situation to think about. What are your thoughts?
Well, I forgot to put my mask on, so I
Oh
wanted to put
yeah.
my mask on. We got the big M for Matt or for Mil Mascaris, but I wanted to do the wrestling show with my mask on, so hopefully it looks all right. Like I talked about earlier, I think there's a 99% chance this is not going to happen. It is so tough to get. They have to get basically approved by every state. They bring up about the Oscars, but the
Mhm.
Oscars are only approved in a couple states. They limit how much you can bet on the Oscars, and those things are sealed up by an actual accounting firm. And as you know, in wrestling, things change all the time. They've talked about having like the WrestleMania a year in advance, sealed up who's going to win.
Mhm.
Well, you and I both know that that can't happen. You have
Right.
injuries. You have people will get pushed like Daniel Bryan that one year. He
Mhm.
would have never been chosen as WrestleMania thing. So I
Right.
don't think the betting. The reason they're doing it is because they want to get more eyeballs on the product.
Mhm.
Just like the NFL, the worst NFL game gets great ratings because people are betting on that game. And that's one reason why they're kind of into it. So hopefully this doesn't distract you with my mask.
I'm loving it. I'm loving the T-shirt as well. I mean,
Oh yes.
it's a good combo.
Thanks. I really appreciate that. All right, let's talk a little bit about WrestleMania. First off, I had a little rant. I miss 1 day WrestleMania. I do not enjoy 2 day WrestleMania. One of our listeners, 25 Press, says he'd rather a one night or it's either one night 7 hours or 2 nights 4 hours. Well, I say just do one night 4 hours. Cut some of these matches back. Some of these guys don't even deserve to be on WrestleMania. What are your thoughts about having a 2 day WrestleMania?
I don't like it. I like it's already my time is valuable. I got young ones at home, and like you said before, I'm doing all kinds of stuff. So it's tough. I really enjoy the one night situation. I enjoy the idea of just kind of sitting down and making that, and it's on the calendar every year. So I love the idea of just having that one night that you have dedicated to WrestleMania. And I also think that when you do two nights, that you also take away from the quality of potential matches. So that's my other thought is I really think that you could have this like and there used to be like fantastic card top to bottom. Not every WrestleMania lives up to the hype, but you could certainly make it that way, especially with the level of athleticism now and the talent on the roster.
That's right. And look who just popped up. I don't know if you can see this comment. Chris Sly. I don't how did he get in this? How did he, I thought we didn't allow people of this repute to get into our show, but I guess he is here.
Man,
So
he shows up everywhere.
He doesn't have the mixed tag to listen to anymore, so he's supposed to be bored to death. Anywhere Keith White is, he will show up. So
loyal to the end, right there, Chris Sly. Hey,
yes,
Chris.
definitely. So maybe I should get Chris on sometime. That would be very nice.
You'd be entertained because he is quite the heel. He's he says a lot of things to get under people's skin. So it's
That's
good times.
True, definitely. All right, let's look at that WrestleMania lineup. We're gonna go match by match, except we're skipping a couple of the really bad ones that are, I think, on the pre-show.
Yeah.
But let's start off with, and just give me your initial thoughts of it, of course. Let's do Edge versus Finn Balor, Hell in a Cell. It's not, I just read that actually Theory and Cena are going to start the show off.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk a little bit about Edge and Finn Balor. If you're like me, I'm kind of tired of Edge in Judgment Day, personally. And I'm hoping this is the last thing we see of these two guys.
I think this is going to be the blow-off match. It has to be. I mean, to make it even palatable, it has to be. I love the idea. I've heard that the Demon might make an appearance for Finn Balor. I've heard that Edge, there's a rumor that Edge might actually bring back the Brood for one night, at least for the entrance. Okay, they just announced it's going to be the Demon. And it's interesting. Christopher Ellis said match of the night, Edge versus Balor. I was thinking about that. I'll give you my thoughts a little later on what I think is going to be the match of the night. But I thought that this has the potential to definitely steal the show of WrestleMania in general. I think Edge still has it. Whether or not he's got a lot left in the tank, he always delivers. And Finn Balor has been underrated and underappreciated for years. But if you bring in the Demon, you bring in you bring in the Brood, maybe just the callbacks. WrestleMania is all about the feel good moments and the callbacks. And I really think that you're going to have a fantastic Hell in a Cell with those two, especially Edge not having a lot left. We might see some really risky stuff out of him to just kind of lay it out on the line, because you never know when he's just going to call it quits again. And the same thing goes for Balor. I mean, Balor's been wrestling for a long time. People don't realize, but two veterans who know what they're doing in the ring, in a high profile match, and it's got to be a blow off. This just has to end it. Otherwise, it's way too long of a feud.
Yeah. Definitely. It's going to be hard to do the Brood with Christian over at AEW. Gangrel's an MLW. He's probably, and the way MLW contracts are, they're hard to get out of. I don't see them bringing back the Brood unless he had two new guys.
It's a situation maybe where they just bring back Gangrel. I mean, what I'm talking about, by the way, is rumors. But
yeah,
it'd be interesting to see what they do. WrestleMania always is full of surprises.
That's true. It is.
I'd be interested to see what they do. And you're right, MLW contracts, for whatever reason, are pretty sticky to get out of unless you're Davey Richards and mess yourself up for every company that you're with. But I would love to see them do something as a callback, because that's always part of WrestleMania fun. The nostalgia. I mean, WrestleMania is that time of year where the most casual of fans who don't watch any other time, even years, still do WrestleMania. Like my brother's talking about for Philadelphia. He's talking about the idea of he wants to go. And my brother hasn't watched since the Attitude Era. So that tells you what an event WrestleMania actually is.
Yeah, I mean, it's our Super Bowl, is what they say. Absolutely. It's our Super Bowl, folks. Yep. So who do you got, Edge, or you got Finn Balor in this one?
Oh, so the head says Finn Balor. The heart says it's going to be Edge. I'm going with the heart. I think that losing to Edge is not going to be a problem for Finn Balor going forward. And I feel like unless this is Edge's swan song and he does the honors, but I think that it's going to be Edge, I think.
Okay. I'm going to track your picks, and then we'll find out next week how well or how bad you did.
I can't wait, because, man.
If you did really well, then maybe you should be a handicapper if WWE gets legalized for gambling,
If the WWE could only see my prediction I made for the Super Bowl this year on your show.
Hey, you did get one team in the Super Bowl, though.
I did.
You did. So that was pretty good, but went downhill from there.
Yes, it did.
All right, next up, we have a 6-woman tag team match. We got the legends. We got Trish Stratus, Lita, teaming up with Becky Lynch to go up against Damage Control of Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. This one's a slam dunk on picking, I think. Do you see any surprises in this one, or who do you got in this match?
This is a situation because they really didn't have a lot for Becky Lynch to do, and Damage Control is a lot of fun, but I think you got to go with the baby faces. It's that nostalgia pop. I see Becky Lynch and the baby faces taking this one. Bailey and Damage Control are good at what they do. They're excellent working heels. They can lose or win, and it really doesn't affect their standing. So I like the idea of um, Becky Lynch and Trish and Lita going over. But at the same time, if I remember correctly, depending on what they want to do with Damage Control, remember they had the Rock and Sock Connection come back against, I think it was Evolution,
Mhm.
and we all expected Rock and Sock to win, and they did not. So there's that possibility. But I really think that we're going to get this feel good moment with Trish, Lita, and Becky Lynch taking the W.
Definitely. Did you just compare Evolution to Damage Control?
No, but just talking
Okay,
about like bringing back big names and
got
expecting a
you.
certain outcome.
Okay, just
Yeah,
just want to be clear because you would lose all credibility
yeah.
if you did that.
I'd have to just go with the show right now. Just leave.
Yes, yes, pretty much. Yes. All right, next up, this match, I think I just read somewhere it's going to open WrestleMania, which I'm surprised. Austin Theory versus John Cena, which yours truly has been photo bombed by Austin Theory. I was at an independent show I was taking a selfie with AR Fox, who's in AEW now,
Mhm.
and he had wrestled Austin Theory that night, which was a fantastic match. And Austin Theory photo bombs us in the background. So check
I
that
love
out on my
that.
Facebook page.
That's too good. I also think that Austin Theory is going to go over here. I think that they need to make sure that because he is people. Some people really hate the guy, but he's a future star, and he also gets the right kind of heat. So I think he's got to go over on Cena and kind of like establish his credibility. Cena could lose every single match for the rest of his life and still be John Cena. So it doesn't do anything for him right now to
Right.
win.
Yeah. I think Theory has to win, but the way they've just handled Austin Theory, I mean, they've they like build him up and then they just
Right.
destroy him, and then they build him up, and then Cena goes in and just wipes the mat with him on a promo,
That
and
promo
just
was brutal.
yeah, it's just like it's horrible.
Yeah.
And it's one thing doing it with The Rock when The Rock could come back, but Theory had nothing,
Right.
absolutely nothing. He is not at that level where he can talk with John Cena.
And it seemed like it was a setup. And it's weird because we talk about the Triple H regime and all these guys that are now supposed to be in charge and changing things, and it was kind of a shame to bury Austin Theory just because he was Vince's boy, if that's the case. Because sometimes you just got to just recognize talent, and I feel like he has that. So I didn't understand the reasoning, but that's a big company, so we'll never
Mhm.
truly understand what they do every single time.
Yeah.
We'll go nuts trying to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Allison Theory will get that as well. Chris Ellis says Cena is going to beat him up bad, but not get the belt. Well, that is a possibility too. I think everybody agrees Theory is going to walk. Cena's not walking out of there with the U.S. Championship.
Right?
So
That'd be silly.
yeah, but who knows? It's wrestling.
Hmm.
Silly things happen. All right, next up we have the Intercontinental Championship, a triple threat match with Gunther. Hate that name, just can't stand it. He should be called Walter,
Walter.
Sheamus, and Drew McIntyre. This should be a hard hitting event. Um, I don't. I think Gunther's still going to take this over. I think he's good. The guy probably to take this. What do you think, Keith?
I agree. He's a made man. That Royal Rumble standing, that's showing that he had the Rumble. Fantastic. Walter is awesome, and I actually think he's going to be pegged as a future champion. We'll talk about the world title situation a little later, but I do think that somewhere down the line, he is definitely a future world champion. He's just good. I mean, he's always delivering fantastic matches. I love that the wrestling community as a whole is embracing him because I didn't know what was going to happen when he came over from NXT UK. I was really worried he was going to get buried, but I love what they've done with him.
Definitely. I mean, I could also though see him losing this match just because if Cody wins the title, Gunther's probably it would be an awesome next step,
Mhm.
to go after that title. And I think they'd rather have the Intercontinental title off him when he went for the World Championship. So I could easily see Gunther actually maybe losing this match.
He doesn't have to necessarily lose to win. Basically, like he can
Right.
lose the belt. In fact, he doesn't have to get pinned to lose
No.
the belt. So there's ways to definitely like save him, and then just keep him moving. And and maybe it's a good idea. Like you give Drew McIntyre, the championship, kind of give him a WrestleMania moment that he didn't have with a crowd. You know,
Mhm.
she- Sheamus is Sheamus. Sheamus doesn't need stuff anymore. He's just kind of he's a hell of a hand.
Yes. Oh, by the way, I took the mask off. I don't know if you noticed.
I Yeah.
It was a little hard to talk in.
Can you put it back
Next up,
on?
speaking of masks, Rey Mysterio versus how I didn't even try to do that segue. That was good.
That's good.
Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio. This one I think should be decent. I look forward to this one. It's got a great story to it.
And it's interesting because whenever you throw Rey Mysterio and family involved, they always produce. They
Mhm.
produced with Eddie years ago, and now it comes full circle. And I love this. The idea, like the actual, like you said, the story sells itself. I'm thinking this is a star-making turn. I think that this one's gonna need to go to Dominic. Just to elevate him. Unless they're gonna keep this going on, which this is the same as Judgment Day, where I feel like it's time to just relax the feud and move on. Here's my question: Ray's going into the Hall of Fame, correct?
That is correct.
Is this seen as a potential career-ending match for him?
I think so.
I would.
Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna go out, you might as well give the rub to your kid and
Yeah.
go out that way. I worry about what's gonna happen when Ray's gone, with Dominic. Can
Hmm.
he create another story with another wrestler that's not his dad? You know?
If he continues like the snotty, like sniveling heel role, I could see him doing a lot of things with different wrestlers for sure. Uh, you know, it'd be interesting. He does. I mean, that's the knock, right? Is
Mhm.
that we don't know really exactly where he is talent wise. He's on that cusp. So because you want to root for the kid first of all, he's a Mysterio, and uh, it's just yeah, that's a great point. But I like a guy like Lashley, right? If Lashley's like the face, and you got this really antagonistic, smaller, like chicken shit heel, that's that's what I see Dominic in the good role right now until he makes a babyface turn eventually, because he's also small enough to be that underdog and just do what his dad did for years. So he's got the potential, but Chris made a great point that talent wise, is he there yet? Does he have enough seasoning on him? But I think that the best move is he gets the win. Maybe Ray retires. I've been worried about Ray for years, to be honest. Injuries are piling up, and and his style just doesn't lend itself well to longevity. But he has beaten every single naysayer and critic for sure about that.
Oh, definitely, definitely. I still remember back in the day when he got a javelin thrown into the trailer by
The
Kevin
lawn
Nash.
they call the
I
lawn
remember
dart.
watching that
Yeah,
live at the fraternity house. That was
yeah,
unbelievable watching.
yeah. I worry about him too. I just want to say real quick that I don't know if you remember this when he won the world title, and they do this with every single star who's smaller, but he put on a lot of muscle to win that world
Mhm.
title.
Yeah.
And the thing, he got popped by the wellness program too. I just worry about his body breaking down even further if he continues. So I would love for this to be his last match.
Yeah. Christopher Ellis says, "Long dart is the family joke." I like that. Definitely. All right, our next match, I'm going to predict this is the match that you're going to say is going to steal the show. It's Seth freaking Rollins versus Logan Paul, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And I would never you I would have laughed, at 2023 Keith talking about either of the Paul brothers having the ability to do anything stealing the show. But to be very honest, Seth Rollins is the Shawn Michaels of his day, and that means he can carry a match. But Logan Paul's been so impressive with what he's done in a short sample size that they're going to have these awesome, you know, crazy moments that we're all going to be talking about on Monday for sure. It's weird and insane how Bad Bunny and Logan Paul and these celebrities can come in and really be top notch in terms of their performance. Because we could say, oh, they're good for a celebrity, but honestly, like especially like Bad Bunny and Logan Paul. You're just like, no, they're just good. Pat
Mhm.
McAfee, Cam Manning, if he's listening, once said that eventually it feels like there's going to be a Pat McAfee versus Logan Paul WrestleMania match main event.
Right.
Like that's just where they're at.
And if you remember back in our day watching celebrities get in the ring, Lawrence Taylor,
Mhm.
William the Refrigerator Perry at WrestleMania 2 and stuff. I mean, and the way these guys have it kind of started with Stephen Amell, the
Mhm.
Arrow actor.
Yes.
He was the first celebrity that really came in. It was just like, wow, he can actually do moves.
Mhm.
That was I know you have a hard spot for him because of the TV show, but that's an inside joke. But other than that, he did a really fantastic job, and people forget about him, and it's just evolved. Every celebrity coming in has been great. I mean, Logan Paul hasn't had a bad match yet.
And that's what's pretty. I mean, you think about the rocket ship they put him on, where they have him in Saudi Arabia against Roman Reigns for the world title,
Yeah,
right? To showcase him across the globe, and you'd think he would wilt in that moment, but he's been made for all these moments, and he doesn't shy away. Forgetting Carl and Rodman, I love that.
I would like to forget Carl and Rodman. No, who I would like to forget is Jay Leno.
Jay
That's what I
Leno,
would like to forget, Jay Leno.
yeah, rough times. David Arquette, God bless him. You know,
Still better than Jay Leno.
still better than Jay Leno.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, Logan Paul versus Seth freaking Rollins is going to definitely steal the show. And that's going to be a match that you're going to hear about it probably for weeks to come afterward. So eventually down the line, when Logan Paul is ready, I mean, I could see a Logan Paul versus Cody. I mean, could you imagine like that kind of dynamic eventually? No, Drew Carey. Oh,
I forgot
I,
about Drew Carey.
I am loving these guys right now in the chat.
Yes.
Pete Rose, right? Can we get a
Yeah, Pete Rose.
little
Pete Rose never really had a match though. He just
no,
would like
you
interfere.
just get tombstoned every year.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some bad celebrities back in the day. They've gotten all better since. We haven't seen a bad one. Well, maybe Shaq in AEW was kind of bad.
Yeah,
I didn't watch it, but I heard it wasn't that great.
Snoop's Frog Splash in AEW was really
Oh
rough.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Stick with WWE celebrities, they do well. So who's gonna win this match? I think Logan Paul's coming out on top of this one.
Seth Rollins is another guy where he can just lose, and he's Teflon. So I think that Logan Paul gets the win and just kind of increases his trajectory up, man. I really do think this is going to be the Logan Paul show for sure.
All right. Chris Ellis says he thinks Seth is going to take this. I don't know. I think Logan Paul's going to take this one. All right. Our next match. I thought this was going to be your stealing, your show stealing match. Brock Lesnar, the Beast, versus was it Amos or Amos or Amos? I don't.
Almost. I don't.
Big tall guy.
Yeah.
This,
You know,
does this remind you of Undertaker Giant Gonzalez?
I was gonna say that. Awesome. Yes. Yes. This is absolutely Undertaker and Giant Gonzalez. This is a travesty at WrestleMania. This is one of the arguments I have against having a 2-night WrestleMania because this is a joke of a match that shouldn't even be on the card. I mean, they were trying to push this guy with AJ Styles, but it was more like a Vince project, right? Now it's Vince's back, and he's somewhere, some way, puppeteering this one to come in. So because it didn't make any sense. But now the interesting thing is, Matt, is who wins.
Well, our buddy Chris Ellis says almost wins. I don't see Brock doing a job. I really don't. But could we see Bobby Lashley come in and bring back the Hurt Locker and cost Brock the victory?
Will that be cool? And Lashley has nothing to do apparently. So
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. How we got to this Brock Lesnar almost match is because Brock wouldn't work with Bray Wyatt. And now Bray Wyatt's not even working with Lashley.
yeah, and Bray Wyatt, from what I can tell, like they've talked about the idea of maybe like of needing a mental break or something going on, which is kind of unfortunate because
He's only had like 2 matches since he came back. That's what's unfortunate.
I don't want to compare him to CM Punk, but I wonder if he's kind of like a CM Punk situation now. Where like you want him there, good for the company in terms of like eyeballs and creativity, but just the rest of the stuff is hard to deal with. I don't know. I'm surprised that Brock didn't want to work with Wyatt, but at the same time, like if Wyatt is some sort of issue backstage, I could see that because I don't see Brock turning down working with people. And we've actually never seen that match before, have we?
No, we've seen like in the Royal Rumble where the Wyatt family and Brock were in the same thing
Right.
together. But that was about it. That kind of like
Did
not
Brock
kickstarted it, but that kind of like got the idea, I think.
did Brock and the Fiend ever fight? I can't remember.
I don't think
I don't
so.
think so. Okay.
No.
Maybe somebody on the chat could help us out, but it's a shame. Like this is weird. It's just a weird situation.
I
Now,
remember I remember on your show when Bray came back in Philadelphia, you guys were going off that like this is one of the greatest returns ever. Has this been a total disappointment since he came back?
yeah, because the storyline with Uncle Howdy is weird, and what they're doing with Bliss, and it's convoluted. And we were excited because it was now Triple H's version of the WWE, so we were expecting that like Bray Wyatt would have some really good creativity, and it just doesn't feel right. And we don't know where the storyline's actually going. The Uncle Howdy thing, which I believe that might be Bo, right? I think that's Bo. What the heck was Bo's last name?
Dallas.
Dallas, yeah. Um, but it doesn't make any sense where it's going. Where the Fiend actually had like a story and a consistency, and people really enjoyed it. And the same thing with the Wyatt family. This is just very odd. It was the coolest moment in Philly for sure, but since then has just kind of like really started to nosedive for sure.
I think fans were expecting like the Wyatt family, Bray Wyatt, to come back.
Hmm.
I don't know if the Fiend was really that popular, and we can tell now it's not. It wasn't Vince McMahon doing all this puppets and stuff. This was Bray because now we're doing the same thing over again,
Right.
and I think it's really Bray that's really. I don't know who came up with the Bray Wyatt, Louisiana character, but the
The family.
almost yeah, but that was gold. This has been really bad the last two incarnations he's had, I think.
I loved the mask of the Fiend. I loved the weird idea. I actually was one of the few people I think that enjoyed the match with him and John Cena, where you got to see John Cena's like, "This is your lifestyle,"
Mhm.
in the actual funhouse. Um, and to me, that would have been a cool way for John Cena to walk away. But at the same time, you know, now seeing where Bray Wyatt is, maybe that wasn't the best idea because it didn't really lend itself to making a star who was very consistent. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, this is weird situation, and I maybe almost wins, but at the same time, I love your idea of the run in, and I love everything about like them bringing back the Hurt Business, if in any way, shape, or form. I feel like that was a faction that broke up too soon,
Mhm.
so I'd love to see that being brought back
So you're going with almost
by DQ or
by
by
DQ.
some
Okay.
by some way almost wins either
Right.
interference or
Yeah. The match we should be having is Brock and Lashley. That's what we
it,
that's what we should have at WrestleMania.
in like a pit fight or whatever. Like I
Mhm.
would love to see a
Yeah.
stipulation, where they actually like get to use their MMA background. Um, because I would have loved to seen that back when they were, Bobby was in Strike Force, I think,
Mhm. Yep.
and Bellator, and Brock was UFC. I would have loved to just hypothetically seen them go at it in a real cage.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Chris Ellis said Lions Den. That would have been good. The
Yes,
Lions Den. That's what we need. Some Lions
yeah,
Den.
love
With
that,
you could bring Shamrock in to referee.
and another
You know?
callback. Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's go to one of the big matches. I think a lot of people are looking for this tag team match: the Usos versus our boy Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. It's Kevin Owens show for
yeah.
the tag team titles. Uh, really, the Bloodline really could lose all their belts this weekend. Do you think the Usos are going to lose the tag team titles?
I do think that they're going to lose the tag team titles. I do. I think that they lose the belts. I think that they um, crown new champs. This is a consolation prize for Sami Zayn, but at the same time, this is a cool way to bring back Sammy and Kevin, and eventually they're gonna split them up. Because you can't be friends in wrestling for too long. You can be family, but you can't be friends. Eventually they'll crack. But I love and by the way, if we're talking pops, the minute these
Mhm.
guys win the tag team belts, the place gonna go off. The roof's gonna actually come off. So I'm very 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 uh, willing and ready to look and see what happens with this. But Bloodline is Bloodline's gonna lose some luster as they. It's time. Like
Mhm.
it's been nothing short of amazing what they've done with the Bloodline, but all good things have to come to an end, and this is going to start things off.
Yeah, I think this will be. I think this match will be on the opposite day of Roman and Cody. I don't see them having all the bloodline in one day actually coming up for that. But
Yeah,
all right, so you're going with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Let's talk the Raw Women's Championship. Bianca Belair, with the long hair, versus the lady I love, Asuka. But I really don't think Asuka's going to get this. Are we going to see another Bianca Belair win in this WrestleMania?
I think so, but I want Asuka back in the title picture. She is fantastic. Um, I guess a way they could do this is because eventually they got to do something. I personally believe that Bianca Belair's character is a little stale.
Mhm.
It'd be kind of neat to maybe like have her lose and then snap. Um,
With the hair.
maybe. Oh,
Somebody's got to cut her hair off. It,
eventually, right? That's got to be the heel move. Chris Sly has put the application in. I feel like they denied it. But yeah, somebody absolutely has to go ahead and do that. They have to some point take that hair off because it is just the right thing to do for business. It's her trademark. It's her look. It's what makes her a baby face. But it's definitely time.
difficulty. Oh, there we are. We'll see if Keith comes back. Keith, you there? All right, good. I lost my internet there for a second. So you were talking about Bianca Belair.
I was just saying that it's time, like to take that hair away because that is her trademark, and
Mm-hmm.
somebody that's the biggest heel move you can do is take that hair away. Um, I want to see something fresh with her character. Chris Ellis
Right.
says Belair. Uh, just to see what happens, I'm going to say Asuka, and
Okay.
I'm going to say Asuka wins, and this begins a change in Belair's character.
Yeah, I think eventually we got to see a unification of the women's championships too. I know they've talked about splitting up, Reigns, Romans.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be tough to do, but I like one champion. Like I like Roman Reigns being the undisputed champion, who can come on either show. You know, people can challenge him. I would like to see that for the women as well. Unify those belts on into one title.
Yeah,
All right. Next, speaking of women's titles, I think this one could be a show stealer too. Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley is hot right now. Um, I think she's got to take this from Charlotte. Of course, she lost. What was that? 2 years ago when she took Charlotte on WrestleMania,
mm-hmm.
lost that match. It's the rematch. We got Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley.
It's time. It's time to really crown her, and Charlotte. Charlotte's willing to do business. You watch Charlotte come back, and we watched her lose relatively recently, and relatively shockingly, at different times. It's Rhea Ripley's time, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Um, Chris Sly, you're correct. No AEW women. Um, that's a sad situation with that division that they keep getting more and more women's wrestlers that are quality, but no idea what to do with them. But anyway, but WWE does do a good job with it. I'm not a I don't know, we haven't really talked about it yet, but maybe we will. But I'm not a fan of that women's tag match, like the big scramble one, the showcase they're calling it.
Oh yeah, I
Um,
didn't want to talk about that.
okay, yeah, good. Then let's not do it.
we can talk about it. I just think it's going to be a complete disaster.
Yeah, I think so too. And
Yeah.
I feel like the men's match is the same way, where it's just
Yeah.
a cluster.
Yeah, I
So
don't want to see that either. I would
yeah,
assume that's going to be like a pre-show.
yeah. Rhea Ripley, Chris Ellis, perfect comment.
Yeah.
And she's just an attraction too. Like she's must see everything she does. So yeah,
Are we
I
gonna
hate.
Are we going to see her turn babyface eventually here pretty soon? I mean, how
Yeah.
popular she is getting. The only problem, if she does turn babyface, what does that do for Dominic? Because Dominic needs her bad. Like, that's a huge part of Dominic's character. And if Rhea turns face, I feel bad for Dominic because then he's out in the cold.
Well, I don't think Dominic Mysterio is meant in the WWE to be like a future top guy. I feel like he's always going to be, he's not his dad. So he's always going to be like a lower card, mid card kind of guy. I mean, if they could bring back the European title, Dominic Mysterio has European title written all over him. You know, it's just he's not supposed to be the man. So when they do break them up, it'd be pretty amazing to see her just beat the tar out of him. You know, like
There you go.
the reaction would be fantastic.
Yes.
So
And then he goes with Ronda Rousey or something.
right, he
He gets another girl.
yeah.
Oh, definitely. All right. Chris Ellis says it's going to be Flair. So did you pick who? Did you pick Rhea Ripley?
I pick Rhea for sure.
Okay. So Chris Ellis says, holy whatever. I agree with Matt 100%. Dawn sucks without Rhea. That is true. Yes. Way to swear on my show, Chris. That's okay. All right. Time for the main event. And now it's not just you and me talking. It is Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare, trying to do it for his dad. They stole the belt in Madison Square Garden for his dad. Can he defeat Roman Reigns?
I think he does. I think it ends the bloodline as we know it for a little while. I also saw rumors. I love rumors are fun. I saw pictures of a title design of the American Nightmare, where it's a white belt, looks kind of like the winged eagle, and it's got the American Nightmare logo on it. That it looks pretty awesome, and I don't know if it's fake or not, but it'd be kind of cool to do. This storyline is one of those situations where they could have pivoted and gone with the crowd with Sami Zayn. They chose not to. I would love to see these belts be taken and broken up. I like the idea of two belts. I see a comment too about Stacy Keibler in the Hall of Fame.
We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah. Jay White will appear at the end of the night. That'd be a fantastic way to set him up for the next pay-per-view, somehow, some way. It'd actually be kind of neat too, like if Roman is on his way out for an extended period of time, like for whatever reason, have Jay White cost Roman the, have him cost him the match, do something. But I feel like this is Cody's time, and kudos to them. I mean, when he got injured, that could have really derailed everything. But we knew the Rumble was coming. We knew he was going to be back. He was going to win. Like, this is one of those, sometimes with WrestleMania, it's incredibly predictable. And I feel like this has got to be the way it's got to be.
Yeah, but I mean, they can still Lex Luger him. Do you know the analogy of the Lex Luger him?
Yeah.
Where Lex Luger had a chance to defeat Yokozuna and win the title at SummerSlam.
Count out.
They pushed it off. They pushed it out so he could get it at WrestleMania, and then he ended up never getting it.
Yeah. I hope they don't do that because that's just a long time coming. I feel like if you beat Roman Reigns, it's got to be at two events. It's got to be at WrestleMania or SummerSlam. It just simply can't be any other time. So I think this is the time for him to lose. What an absolute modern era untouchable run he's had. I mean, his run is you can help me out with this, but I think it's even bigger than Hogan in terms of the longevity. It's almost like San Martino dominance for what he's done, in this time. And people thought that, especially they didn't like his title defenses. But I was like, man, you got Kevin Owens, Daniel Bryan, you go down the list. And yes, he turned his cousin into a main event star who you didn't know if he was actually going to pull it off. That's the cool thing. Every time you watch a Roman Reigns match, you wonder, is this guy is someone going to pull it off and beat him?
Yeah. I mean, it's been pretty historic, especially in modern era. It's hard to compare it to Hogan and San Martino and even Backlund and stuff, just because wrestling is totally different now.
Yeah.
I mean, back then, most champions stayed for quite a while,
right.
Except the heel champions, at least in WWF. But, they mostly were long run, but modern day, it's been unheard of what he's done.
Yeah.
Definitely. And the storyline has been fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there we are. Oh, there we are. All right. So how are they going to split those belts up?
Oh well, I had
Or
the
would you even not split them up?
I like the idea of the split. I wish that they had done a situation where Sammy got one night to beat him for one of the belts, the Universal, I guess. Cody wants that world title, and I
Mhm.
think that's the one that his dad. There's lineage, so you can show the lineage, and I thought that would be a good way for Cody to say, like I don't like Cody could have done something like you screwed over Sami Zayn. If you're truly a man, if you're truly the head of the table, you'll put the Universal title up, for my friend Sammy, and then I just want that world title, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be tough. All right, let's go back to our buddy 25 Perez had a question about Stacy Keibler in the Hall of
Mhm.
Fame. Before you get to that, I want to tell you a Stacy Keibler story because I met Stacy right after she left the WWE. She was at the National Sports Collectors Convention signing autographs. And I got her autograph, and I asked her. This was probably a couple months after she left, and I was like, "Hey, is there any chance you ever go back to the WWE?" And she laughed and said, "No." So I think she's coming back to the Hall of Fame for a payday. Personally, to me, she's not a wrestling. She's not into wrestling. I
Mhm.
don't think she was ever a wrestling fan, and I think it's pretty funny they're actually putting her in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, they've. It's sometimes we all kind of like Demolition's still not in, correct?
I don't know. They're not.
Right. Like there's all these people that are not in, but yet other people are. This is one of those ones where it doesn't make any sense in terms of obviously like the work rate, the win loss record, the impact. Um, but she had an impact on pop culture for WWE.
I think she had more of a pop culture because she dated George Clooney, though.
Yeah, but didn't
Yeah,
she? Wasn't she in? No, she never. She never.
I
There was
don't
never.
remember her in anything
There was
like
never.
any movie.
There's
I just remember she dated George Clooney, and that was
right.
like her calling card for a while.
Yeah, I was thinking like magazine spreads.
Oh yeah, I'm sure she's been in magazines, but
But
yeah.
I was thinking like with China and Sable. I didn't know if she went that same route.
Oh, with Playboy, I don't think
I
so.
don't think so either.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I really don't think so actually.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, great comment. Um, Victoria doesn't get enough credit for what she did in the business.
Mhm.
I'm not, it's funny, like people bring up Melina. Melina was a real short time,
Yeah.
and it was known for the entrance with Eminem primarily. Um, but yeah, it's funny. She reminded me almost like what was her name? Sunny, where you just put Sunny
Mhm.
with different groups, see what stuck.
I
Um,
think Sunny had more of a personality though.
yeah,
Like, do you ever
uh,
remember Stacy ever doing any kind of promo that you remember any word that she ever said?
no,
No.
I feel like I remember like Vince McMahon creeping on her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, Former Baltimore Ravens cheerleader.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I can't remember. I'm sitting here trying to remember like really, really, really memorable Stacy Keibler moment, and I can't.
Besides getting into the ring, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all you remember. And she was in WCW.
Yes.
For a short cup of time there.
She dated David Flair.
Yes, she dated David Flair, and Chrisella said she managed the Dudleys. She did manage the Dudleys. So I do like how they're bringing in Andy Kaufman into the WWE Hall of Fame. That is way overdue. Andy Kaufman should be either one A or 1B of celebrities into any wrestling Hall of Fame is Andy Kaufman.
Dude, I'm with you on that.
Hmm.
Uh, I also want I don't I'm wondering if you just got some spam on the comments. But
Hey, everybody can talk to me. I don't care.
yeah. Uh I Andy Kaufman was such a big deal for pro wrestling in pop culture moment. I mean that moment, if you watch those 80s, like the best of the 80s,
Mhm.
didn't that was up in like top 5 moments of the 1980s was the David Letterman slap.
Hmm.
and and he just, but also the guy loved the business. Like you
Yeah.
could tell he had a true love for the
He didn't
business.
cash any of his checks.
Yeah.
Like, that's hilarious that he didn't cash anything.
Well, he was also getting paid by the Jarretts, so he knew there was no real money.
Well, that is true as well. But yeah, and people don't remember that he not only just did a couple matches, he did almost a whole year. Like in '83,
Mhm.
he did like almost a whole year of like he was one of the boys. He was there all the time. He was not even making Memphis. He was sometimes making Louisville, Evansville shows. He was there quite a bit during that '83 before he got really sick and everything.
Right.
The other celebrity that should be in the Hall of Fame, especially for WWE, is Cyndi Lauper. I mean, I have a feeling though Cyndi Lauper probably turns him down, but if any celebrity should be in the Hall of Fame, it should be Cyndi Lauper over, Donald Trump and Pete Rose and all those other guys. What Cyndi Lauper did for wrestling in the '80s was huge, bringing it over to mainstream with that rock and roll, that rock and wrestle connection.
I did my best. I have like a weird like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. I've like 1 degree away from Cyndi Lauper, with her guitar player, and I tried my best to get her on mixed tag because I just wanted to talk to her about, about that time, and because she just seems
Time
so
after time.
time after time. If you're lost,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, no, I just feel like she's such a genuine person, and and I would have loved to just hear those stories besides what we see in like the A&E biographies. I love to hear them from her actually.
Yeah.
Like what went down. I mean, the fact that like Roddy Piper put his hands on her. Like things that they just would not get away with anymore.
Mhm. Yeah, they're a record producer get like, or that was Lou Albano got smashed over the head with the record,
Hmm.
but the
Yep.
record date was a David Geffen, I think,
Hmm.
was involved in all that too. That was just huge.
Hmm.
Another celebrity should be in as well. They haven't really announced too many other people. I think it's just,
It's a weird
uh,
Hall of Fame class this year.
yeah, Rey Mysterio and Keebler and Andy Kaufman and I don't know. The big thing on Andy Kaufman is Jerry Lawler. Is Jerry Lawler going to be well enough to induct him? Because you got
Yeah.
to have Jerry Lauer induct Andy
Oh,
Kaufman.
that's the only person that can do it. Only
Yeah,
person.
he might have to do it by video or something like that. I wonder. So,
Yeah.
what about Batista? A couple people had asked about Batista. He was supposed to go in the Hall of Fame in 2020, but they canceled it. I don't know. Is he considered a Hall of Famer? Not don't. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, compared to the other people they've been putting in, if you think
Well, yeah.
about his career, his titles, the feuds, he had a nice little run.
Oh, Muda's going in too. I'm sorry.
That's cool.
Yeah, a
Well,
guy who's
and
never worked in the WWE whatsoever.
yeah, that's what's so cool about it.
Yeah.
You know, what a career for that guy too. There's some great footage out there, by the way, if you're interested. If anybody wants to see Hulk Hogan actually wrestling,
Mm,
of Hulk Hogan and Great Muta in Japan, and Hulk is doing like actual moves,
yeah.
like Hulk's hitting insagiris and all kinds of stuff. Fun to watch.
That's one where Muda runs the whole way down the ramp, right?
Yes,
And clotheslines Hogan over
yes,
the top rope. Yeah. I
yes.
see that clip a lot.
Yeah.
So I've never actually sat down and watched the whole match, but I've seen that clip a lot.
All the clips always say Hogan put his working boots on when he was in Japan.
He did. He definitely did. He probably got paid by the number of moves he did, maybe.
That'd be
Maybe that's how they
hilarious.
paid him. So,
That'd be hilarious.
all right, Keith, I've taken enough of your time. It's been a great show, man. We've had a lot of comments in the comment area. I appreciate everybody who came on. Keith, what do you got going on? You seem like you're more busy now than when you were doing the Mixed Tag podcast.
I am, and it's all thanks to TNT Games. It's my trivia company down here. I actually stopped the podcast and stopped teaching, but TNT Games got very popular. I would love to eventually, expand to other states. But it's a trivia game around the Southern Delaware area where we just bring people out during the weekdays and have a lot of fun. And we have some theme nights and things like that. You can check us out at TNT Games on Facebook, and then TNT underscore game time on Instagram. But if you want a specific event in your area, contact us. We might be able to do something where we roll out. I would have loved, just don't have the time now, and they're already doing something, but in Salisbury, Maryland, there's going to be pro wrestling trivia this upcoming Sunday. I can't go. I'm heartbroken over it. Or I guess it was this past Sunday. I had to go to a birthday party, which is fine. But I would love to somewhere, some way, somehow do a pro wrestling trivia night, even if it's just one night, out near WrestleMania. In fact, maybe next year, that's it's gonna be in Philly.
Yeah.
Maybe I could pull off a pro wrestling trivia night in the greater area up there.
Well, I'm sure a lot of those bars and stuff are going to be looking for, wrestling themed activities
Hmm.
for a lot of the fans that are, because now you have fans from all over the world that come to this event. So
Yeah.
I think you might have a good chance of doing something like that.
I'm hoping next year I go. My brother's already talking about tickets, so and that shows the power of pro wrestling. He
Mhm.
hasn't, like I said, he hasn't watched literally since Vince McMahon bought the company. Bought WCW, and we watched that simulcast. And that's the last time he watched wrestling, but yet he's trying to go to WrestleMania.
Right. Because I was there last. Were you at the Philly show last time at WrestleMania or not?
No, I was not.
Oh, I was. It was. I don't. We went it right in after formal, so it was a very chaotic thing, and it wasn't like it is now. It was just like one day.
Right.
Now it's like a whole event. You got the NXT show. You got the Hall of Fame. Though I heard they're doing the Hall of Fame after SmackDown. I think I read that somewhere.
Okay.
They're going to do that after a SmackDown show. So who knows about that? But all right, buddy, I've taken enough of your time. I appreciate you coming on, Keith. Always great to bring you on. And you got a new backdrop now, which I'm loving. You need to put up a little sign or something. Keith White Experience, like the spray paint, like the NWA spray paint, like right over there on your one shoulder. That would look awesome.
That would be great.
All right. And I mentioned earlier in the show, April 27th, our NFL draft show special. I'm hoping you'll be on for the show on April 27th, Thursday, because you give some expert analysis on your NFL draft picks.
You'll see me there, and I'll be talking a lot because now we've got some interesting things going on with Lamar Jackson requesting his trade.
We talked about that too. I don't think the Ravens are going to trade him.
It'd be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah.
Everybody, hold on to your butts. Grab the popcorn.
There you go. All right, Keith, I'll let you go. Have a good night, and I appreciate you coming on, sir.
Thank you so much. Great.
All right, that is our boy Keith White from the Mixed Tag Podcast and TNT Games. Check them out at their Instagram and on their what other social? I don't know. Check out TNT Games. Keith will get you hooked up, and I'll put a link in the description for this show for his company as well. All right, guys, that's all the time I got for tonight. This has been an awesome show. It started off rough, but once Keith got on, we were banging right through wrestling. I appreciate all you guys with your great comments. It's been one of our most commented shows we've ever done. We might do this again, maybe coming up for SummerSlam or maybe next year for Royal Rumble or something like that. So that's all the time I got for tonight. Have a great night and have a great week, everybody.